Will there be new characters in the DLC? Yes, there will be. The story, including the DLC, will take about 40 hours, maybe more if you play through everything. Knock knock travelers! Hello everyone, this is Inray, and today we'll be talking about our plans for the next 6 months until the DLC release. It's been a while since we last connected, but there were reasons for that, and I'll tell you more about them later. Before we dive into the roadmap and our plans, I'd like to say a huge thank you for all your feedback. My goal for the team was to improve our game enough to achieve an average rating of 92-93% positive reviews, and you've already accomplished that. So we have to raise the bar up to 95%. Thank you so much, we truly appreciate it, and we also read all your feedback. We have a few crucial things to address, especially the so-called QA. We were focused on enhancing the player experience. This includes things like fonts, tooltips and other quality of life improvements. We're working hard on this. For example, we've run into a few issues with increasing font size. There are several ways to do this. We could just enlarge the map or redraw it entirely. Since we're currently focused on making the game more comfortable for the Steam Deck users, while also preparing for mobile devices, this particular task has been postponed a bit. It's a complex undertaking. Porting to mobile is deeply tied to this task, so we'll handle it closer to the release when we have more time. UI design optimizations falls into this category as well. Improvements related to rewards and event information are also well underway. Most of it is almost ready. We added new map indicators and soon we introduce item comparison. For example, when items drops and you want to compare them with what you currently have equipped, you'll no longer need to go into your inventory. Instead, you'll be able to compare them directly. You've probably already seen the updates in our development diaries, one example being the battle log. Many players, including myself, often found it unclear what caused a character's death. You might sit there and think, oh right, I forgot about the poison debuff or some other overlooked details. So with the new battle log, this confusion will be buried in the past. We've already implemented the battle log and are now refining its appearance to make it more visually appealing. Additionally, we plan to include the battle log in the death recap screen. When you lose, you'll see a summary of your experience and points along with the final battle log to understand what went wrong and what led to your defeat. We believe this will make the game more transparent and reduce the instances of "oh, I died, but I don't know why." Another important addition is the event log. At first glance, it might seem like just a list of events you encountered, but no. I wanted to include this from the very beginning, but we simply didn't have time. Now, after the release, we've realized how much work is still needed for the event log. Despite increasing our team of game designers up to 7 people, we're still working on it. The idea is that the event log will record all the actions you've taken on a map, so you can look back at what you did in a previous run. Imagine logging into the game and seeing a summary on the side that shows you talked to elves, explored a battle, or any number of things. This log could include links to the events themselves, showing they occurred and what happened. This way, if you get wiped in the third biome, you can recall what happened in the first without second-guessing every route you've taken. To achieve this, we need to rework all events and assign appropriate tags to each one. Some events have over 10 branching paths, all of which need to be connected. This is a massive task. On top of this, we've added over 100 new event branches and more than 100 new action buttons. This includes DLC content, but the number is still very significant for us. We're also working on event endings. The current ones, they don't fully meet our expectations, so we're expanding and refining them. This includes enhancing the story mode with more endings and hints leading to those endings. We aim to bring them to a logical and satisfying conclusion. This ties in closely with the battle log, so these tasks are progressing side by side. I hope we can release an update in January showcasing all the new features we've incorporated into the new events. Now onto a painful one, balance. And it's not just tweaking numbers here and there, it's much more complex. Misha Kain, who is active on a Discord, actually feel free to reach out to him. So he has been diving deep into our game's balance. As I've mentioned in the last video, our balance was initially created by multiple people, and towards the end we were simply patching up whatever was broken. As a result, our balance is somewhat chaotic. To fix it, we had to examine the entire system. And what did we find? Chaos. There is no logic to it. Fixing it could involve, for example, nerfing overpowered elements to level the playing field. But if we remove powerful starting mechanics, the game might become unplayable beyond the first biome. To address that, we need to adjust boss stats, items and maps, because essentially everything is interconnected. The scope of work is enormous: 1300 cards, over 250 enemies and more than 400 items. All managed by just 2 game designers, as the others are busy with other tasks. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll achieve something extraordinary, a potential game of the year. The main challenge is completing all of this in time for the DLC release in April. So, subscribe to our YouTube, Reddit, Twitter and Discord. We'll post there when we have something ready to show, and we'll give access to the beta branch when some changes are ready. We really ask you to participate in beta testing when the time comes, because we'll need feedback, and we'll need you to tell us how much you like it. Let me tell you, the tasks we have are something out of realm of fantasy. You look at the scope of work and it's something unreal, but for us it's a challenge, a kind of test. It'll be amazing if we can accomplish something this extraordinary. So keep an eye on our social media. As for the DLC, if we didn't count the balance, the DLC is almost ready. We finished the kinematics, we finished almost everything. Why does the roadmap show only 70% for the DLC? It's mostly because the balance isn't done, and there are a few narrative elements to finalize. The transition from the story section to the gameplay, where you arrive at the table with tarot cards and make your selections. Finalizing the mechanics of successfully completing tarot cards and polishing it up, this is what the team is actively working on. The epic final storyline is complete. We just need to polish it a bit. In terms of the narrative, the DLC is almost entirely ready, and I'm not too worried about it. There are only about 120 events left to write, and since we're completing about 100 events per month, I think the team will finish the events by January. After that, we'll begin playing, testing and tweaking certain things. The only thing missing is a unique boss at the end of each tarot cards. And since the balance isn't done and we're waiting for the full rebalance, we can't yet move to the final tarot bosses. And the cherry on top is porting. We really want to port the game in time for the DLC release, so that the DLC launches simultaneously on PlayStation and Xbox. Honestly, it's a fantastical challenge. It's pretty tough to get all this done, but we're hoping that the process we've set up within the team will allow us to expand easily and finish everything necessary on time without worrying that something will go off track again. Right now, the test seems good and there is less and less we need to fix. Our input system is almost ready, meaning that by mid-January, late January at the least, we'll have full controller support, at least for the Steam Deck. So if you're a fan of playing on Steam Deck, we're working hard to make sure you can enjoy it soon. So now to the questions. Will there be new characters in the DLC? Yes, there will be, but you won't be able to play as them. We don't think we can manage new playable characters at the moment, and they're not deeply integrated into the story. There is no horizontal expansion of the story with the new characters, but in certain sense there will be one character. I don't want to spoil anything, but you will be able to play briefly. You'll see them in the DLC, and it will be a small amount of gameplay, but it will be very climatic. I promise to tell you what our next game will be, and I'll definitely come to you with a poll about what kind of game you'd like us to make. We want to create a card battler within Knock on the Coffin Lid. In this card battler, I think there will be quite a lot of characters. Hopefully we'll manage this. After the release, we plan to take a little break after the DLC launch, regroup, write a few design documents, create some MVPs, test them out, figure out what we like, and then come back to you with some testing and experiments. How many hours of gameplay does Knock on the Coffin Lid have? The story, including the DLC, will take about 40 hours, maybe more if you play through everything. I've seen people logging in for 200 hours in reviews, and I'm honestly amazed. We want to create several endless game modes, score-based modes or ranking modes to see how far you can go in the terror run or regular runs. We'd love to add an endless mode and an ascension mode. This will probably come later. So how many hours of gameplay? I think it depends on how much you enjoy the game. If you explore everything, I think you could easily spend 100 hours or more. In conclusion, I want to say that we are deeply immersed in development right now. We're very focused on completing everything we want to finish before the DLC. And we don't want to delay it. That's why you'll probably see less of me in the video dev diaries. Honestly, I'm recording this diary now, and then I'm heading right back to writing the design document for Vanadis and what it'll be like post-rebalance. I found just a few minutes to record this to let you know that we haven't disappeared, we're alive, we're here. I hope to share something with you again next month. Maybe even show you something. Finally, I want to wish you all success in gaming. I hope you didn't miss Path of Exile 2. We enjoyed playing it, and it gave us a lot of ideas. Great builds, great mechanics, you might even see some inspiration from it in our game. Follow our socials, leave feedback and write to us in Discord. We read everything and respond as much as we can. You can also message us directly if there's something you want to share, so it doesn't get lost in any chat. We're grateful that you follow our work, share our feedback and help us grow. This is why we do what we do. So see you on the battlefields of Knock on the Coffin Lid. Goodbye everyone.